Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now, today's first story comes from Lucky Strike 222 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit and says, my family wants to hide my heterochromia for my sister's wedding. My 21 male sister, 32 female, is getting married and they want me to sing at her wedding, but also wear contacts to hide my heterochromia. I have two different colored eyes. I'm Asian and my family thinks that my heterochromia will never be socially accepted / always looked down upon and may even be perceived as some kind of illness or a disability, and they don't want the new in-laws to perceive any flaws about us and our family. I live abroad, so I don't see my family often. Every time I visit, I get urged to go out in public at events to see family, wearing contacts. Spring every year, when the wedding is, we have really bad yellow dust, and wearing the contacts is going to be a pain. I have good vision, so contacts are not part of my life at all except to hide my colored eye. My mum has always been image orientated, grooming my sister and I our whole lives and being hypercritical about our looks. My only flaw is my eye condition. My sister's flaw was her nose, and my mum bullied her into surgery for a small bump no one would have said anything bad about. Should I just suck it up and wear the contacts for that day? Maybe I'm picking the wrong time to retaliate. When is it the right time? Edits, I can't keep up with the comments, so I will write here and hope you see it. A complete heterochromia, brown and blue. As I mentioned in my post, I live abroad. I grew up and went to school outside my home country from a young age, where I never hide my condition. The older I get, the more I receive a lot of compliments for it in the US and Europe. I've been told it suits my demeanor and personality, which is on the quieter side. I've been scouted a few times for modeling, but in all honesty, I'm not that good at it. In my home country, most people have the same eye color, more homogeneous society. And while enhancing your eye color is popular, it still tends to lean very natural looking. I was raised to hide my eye color from a young age there, so admittedly it's been hard to move away from that because I got so used to wearing contacts every time I visit. I'm not a shy person, but I'm an introvert, and not having attention on me when I don't want it has always been a personal incentive to comply. I've gone without contacts in my home country on a few occasions. The responses have been mixed. There have been some comments from older people, like a comment which OP links, which are in alignment with my mum's fears. But when it comes to younger people, the reactions are often positive. Not always though. Lol. Some people know what heterochromia is and clock it. I also have been told I come across intimidating to approach in general, even in contact, so most of the time no one will say anything to my face. They will just steal glances and whisper to each other. When people do end up talking to me, they say things like, but then I talked to you and you were kind. You have a calm energy. Your eyes are really cool / beautiful. I am aware many people find my eyes attractive, but my mum is an older woman who has been conditioned by her own upbringing. Her worries are things like, my heterochromia will hold me back from success, jobs, opportunities, etc. in the country she grew up in, which holds some truth and is the reality there. I shared here a little bit about her perspective. Please keep in mind that this post is about my personal experience. I'm not trying to speak for all the Asians of the world. My family is conservative, the social circle is too. This post is mainly situational, about my sister's wedding. On that note, I think it's likely going to come down to me wearing contacts for my sister, just to keep things civil and out of respect for her. I'm not going to do it for my mum or grandmother or anyone else, but for my sister, who has to not add to her stress. However, I will be doing this on the condition that I will not be wearing any contacts on visits moving forward. I'm sure once I share my feelings, my sister will understand and back me up on that. I might even show her this page. Thank you all for your positive comments, for reading this. I'm not good at writing and sharing your opinion. To the optometrists and ophthalmologists, I saw some of your comments. I'll do the right thing. To the few people who saw my slip up in my main Reddit on accident, I appreciate you complimenting me, but please stop doxing me in the comments. I've asked some people to redact. Now, I know this is very easy for me to say, but don't be wearing those contacts. Go as yourself. Be yourself. And I would maybe talk to your sister about this to bring comfort to yourself, to get it from her that you come as yourself. They want you to sing at this wedding. You come as yourself. And I would really hope that your sister would agree with you and you do exactly that. Be you. But Mirrored Garage Walls says, nope, your eyes are gorgeous. Wear them with pride, or go malicious compliance and wear full black sclera contacts? Sclera? Oh my word, I just googled it. They're terrifying. Life Significance says, don't wear them. You'll be setting a standard they will expect you to keep up all the time if you do. Family can be critical, and it's easy to do as they say for approval. But you are unique, and Heterochromia eyes are beautiful. Never let anyone, even family, make you think otherwise. Go with pride. Opie says, this is one of the reasons I feel like not wearing them. It's a good opportunity to make everyone see my eyes. Even some family who previously had no idea about my condition. But on the other hand, I feel bad I'm using my older sister's wedding to do that. I don't want to cause drama at her wedding or take away from her moment in any way. That holds me back. Life Significance says, have you tried talking to her about the situation? Maybe asking her if she'd be okay with you doing that could ease some discomfort. Absolutely. Opie says, I've talked to her. She is feeling her own pressure during the wedding and wants everything perfect. My dad passed away at the end of last year, so there's an added intensity to everything. I didn't share my feelings, I just asked if I could go without contacts, and she asked if I would please wear them to avoid issues with our mum adding to her plate. My sister and I have a good relationship. I'd do it for her, but I'm thinking maybe I need to have a deeper conversation. Maybe she doesn't know how I feel about it. But OP came in with an update and said I got some DMs requesting an update. I didn't reply to anyone because the wedding hadn't happened yet and there was nothing to say. Since I already answered questions in my original post, I'll do a simple update here and not answer any more questions. Lol. If you have a really burning question, you can ask it, but I don't check Reddit often. I had a long conversation with my sister. We had to do it over FaceTime because I was still abroad, but in a way it was better. She understands and was genuinely feeling bad about having to request this from me, but we both decided it's not the time to defy the family. I put my personal frustration aside, and after making the first post I began to feel that I was being selfish. I think most people didn't want me to make the decision I did. I'm sorry. My sister was prepared to let me participate in her wedding without any contacts, but I decided to wear them because it's her wedding day. I wore contacts. Yellow dust was yellow dusting, lol, but most of the wedding was indoor, so it was tolerable. I didn't do the malicious compliance guys, so no Halloween demon contact lenses. Optometrists and eye surgeons on the original post convinced me it's not worth the risk. I already hate putting in contacts. After the wedding, I took the contacts out. Mum wasn't happy, and I haven't been wearing them here during my visit. After the first few encounters about it with family and relatives, it's mostly okay with me now. It's a little bit exhausting having the same conversations and hearing the same responses. I think I might need therapy or something for some of the feelings I have, and issues with my mum have been created now because of my choice. But thanks for helping me get over the hardest part. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story, which comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from Tequila Shots at Work. This one to go in. That says, am I the arsehole for ordering tequila shots for my work colleagues at Friday lunchtime? I, 26 male, work in a busy lab, medical diagnostics, and every Friday we go as a team, 6 to 7 people, to a local sports bar to have a team building lunch on the boss's company card. Yesterday our boss was swamped with deadlines, but said the rest of us could go anyway, as long as we paid for any alcoholic drinks ourselves. Usually the boss plus 1 to 2 other people will order a small beer with their lunch, so I have consumed alcohol on the clock before in this job. I was even thinking that without the boss there, that I might order a big beer this time. When we have arrived though, me and my work bro, 25 male, were drawn to a new offer the bar had on tequila shots, 5 for $10. In our defense, we had just had a very stressful morning, so we proposed to the team that we buy a single round of shots to commemorate it. A couple of our colleagues were a little reluctant, but after a little convincing, we were soon toasting to a morning of hard work. That's when my work bro proposed we order a second round of shots. I have a pretty high tolerance to alcohol, so it was no problem with me. I knew for a fact that we have a couple of lightweight colleagues. For example, a lady who rarely drinks, 23 female. but we still managed to convince the rest of the table to drink with us a second time. After that, the 2 females with us tapped out, but the 3 remaining guys, myself included, decided to split 10 further tequila shots. In our defense, as far as team building goes, the outing was a roaring success. I think I learned more about my colleagues in those 1.5 hours than I have in the last 2 years. Unfortunately, when we got back to the office, our boss could smell the tequila on my breath. My work bro very stupidly decided to be honest and told him that some of us had had 5+ shots of alcohol at lunch. My boss's face turned bright fucking red and he told us all to go home immediately and that it wasn't safe for us to be working in a lab while inebriated. I calmly explained to him that I in fact still felt very sober. I have a very high tolerance, remember. But he wasn't having it. I'm genuinely worried what's going to happen on Monday morning. The 2 female colleagues called me and my work bro assholes for taking it too far and getting everyone in trouble. I see their point of view, but on the other hand, we did have a really good time while at the bar. Help us out, Reddit. Who is the arsehole here? And in the comments, Omraid says, "You're the arsehole. I'm pretty sure being inebriated while working in a medical diagnostic lab is a felony. You should be thankful you weren't fired." I wouldn't count that he isn't going to get fired just yet. I think boss being pissed off and sending them all home isn't going to end well. But Pine Boxing says, "You're the arsehole. 5 shots over 1.5 hours and returning to work in a medical lab. Frat days are over, bro." Multiverse replies that saying, "God, I can't even imagine wanting to take 5 shots fully knowing I had to go back to the office. I would have been absolutely sloshed taking 5 shots in general, even if it was on a weekend night out with friends." Commenters, you're not listening. He said he had a high tolerance. Sarcasm, guys. That's sarcasm. Resting Beauty Face says, "You're the arsehole, and the way you describe your other co-workers is gross. Females, diminutive Asian, and work bro. You need to grow up." Fake Mona Lisa says in quotes, "A couple of our colleagues were a little reluctant, but after a little convincing," and then says, "You're the arsehole. If someone tells you no, accept the no and move on. And seek help for your alcoholism. Taking 5 shots in 1.5 hours is not the behavior of someone with a healthy relationship of alcohol." Final comment which says, "Everyone sucks here except your boss. You, however, need to take a look deep at your relationship with alcohol if you think 5 shots of tequila is no big deal. You need to look deep at your career if you think that drinking at lunch wouldn't potentially cause real problems. You work in a lab. You're part of a process where medical information is gathered and resulted. Even a slight error in your part could have resulted in a real person getting the wrong amount of a medication. Healthcare is a higher responsibility. Know that or get out of the field." The OP came in with her update and says, "Well, I'm sure a lot of you will be happy to know that me and my out of work bro got fired this morning. HR asked us why exactly we thought we could drink 6 tequila shots and then go back to the lab. All we could think of was that in college we used to work hard and play hard and it didn't affect our grades. They didn't like that excuse. Anyway, we were offered a plea bargain. HR accepted our resignations and promised a passing but not glowing reference for our future employers, on the condition we don't mention what happened to anyone ever again. I want to thank all those that commented on the original thread. I know except that me and my work bro made a grievous error of judgment. We're not alcoholics, as some people suggested, but we're not in college anymore either. Personally, I'll be laying off the hard liquor for a while to focus on rebuilding my career in medical diagnostics. And if in the future someone offers me a shot while I'm on the clock, I will say no thank you." Imagine being in an office, sat down with HR, and they ask you, "Why did you think this was a good idea?" Instead of saying, I really just messed up. All I can do is apologize for what I did. You went with, "Work hard, play hard." Oh man, dearie me. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from a deleted user. Doesn't have an update as yet, but it's titled, "Am I the arsehole for ignoring my husband during our flight when he expressed anxiety over flying?" I, 33 female, recently married my husband, 30 male, and we took a 3-hour flight to Mexico for our honeymoon. I fly a lot for my job, so I've racked up a lot of miles. My husband isn't a big fan of flying, though he has gotten better and tends to just hold my hand and close his eyes during takeoff and landing. Mostly okay when in the air. When I booked our flights, I requested to use my points if an upgrade to business class became available, but made it clear I only wanted this upgrade if 2 seats became available, and then basically forgot about it. Then comes the day of our flight. I was so excited for this trip. I checked this in online, all is going well. And then when we go to board, the person scanning our boarding passes stops us. She says it seems that my husband was upgraded to business class, but only him, and asks if that is okay. I immediately say no. We're on our honeymoon and we'd like to stay together. But then my husband jumps in and says, "No, it's fine, I'll go to the business class." I look at him in complete shock, and he tells me that I fly all the time and I've been in business class before, but he hasn't, so he deserves a chance to experience it. I see we're holding up the line, so I feel like I just need to agree and get on the plane. To say I'm pissed off is an understatement. He's all smiles, taking his seat, and I go back to my seat where they sit me next to an old woman with a baby on her lap, where my husband should be sitting. Within maybe 5 to 10 minutes of sitting there, trying to hold back tears because my husband left me alone on our flight during our honeymoon, and uses my points for his upgrade no less, he starts to text me saying he feels anxiety over flying. I ignore the text and stop looking at my phone. Within maybe an hour after we're in the air, he comes to the back of the plane to find me, offers me half of his business class breakfast, and asks me why I was ignoring him. That he was scared and needed me to tell him it'd be okay since I'm such an experienced flyer. I told him maybe he should have thought about that before leaving me alone before our honeymoon even really began. He gets angry, tells me that this may be the only time he gets to fly business class, and he was giving me half his breakfast to make up for it, so I could at least be supportive of his genuine fear. I roll my eyes sarcastically, say thanks, and he goes back up to his seat. When we landed, I just tried to move on and forget about it so we could just enjoy our honeymoon. But he guilt-tripped me about not comforting him via text before takeoff, and now I'm wondering if I'm being unreasonable and should have just let him enjoy his time in business class and ensure him it'd be okay. So, am I the arsehole? Commenter says to OP, info, did you get stuck in a middle seat in economy? If so, we ride at dawn. OP says, thank God no. Aisle seats. We've flown together 3 times in the past, Florida, Vegas, and Europe, and made a deal to alternate if one of us had a middle seat. I think the flight was overbooked, and they just gave a random person in a middle seat an upgrade to business so they could fit more people in economy. I have status that allows me to use 500 points to upgrade if the seats are available. Usually I didn't bother putting myself on the upgrade list, but the agent I spoke to on the phone said she could ensure we'd be upgraded as a couple or not at all. Owls and Cardinal says not the arsehole, your husband made a really questionable decision and he was essentially having to live with the consequences of this decision. He jumped at the chance to sit alone in business class, and I guess it didn't occur to him how evidently reliant he is on you during a flight. Regardless of his phobia, he's a grown man and it seems like he made it through takeoff just fine if he was asking your help when he'd already been served food. It's like he was using his need for you as a weapon to make you feel obligated to forgive him for making a pretty shitty choice given that it was your honeymoon. Someone asks OP, is everything always about him? OP says he grew up poor and has this mindset of always wanting to have more things, more money, etc. I grew up middle class, but had awesome parents that made sure I got the opportunities that they didn't. I think he has a very fear of missing out mindset and thinks he deserves to experience things as an adult because he had so little growing up. We just have very different ways of looking at things. I care enjoying what I do for work and don't care about salary and promotions. He wants to make all the money and get all the promotions no matter what. Now, I totally get anxiety around flying. I'm a very, very anxious flyer myself, like someone that has like death grips on the armrest as it's taking off and landing. But after that initial decision where you turned up and he's like, no, I'll take the business class, you can go in economy, I had very little sympathy in the end. I've got to be honest. And it felt like a bit like that comment said that, you know, he was only bringing the breakfast over and then partially using that anxiety against you to get you to forgive him. But talking about anxious flying, I remember I went on a Christmas do once with the last company that I worked for. We went to Frankfurt in Germany and went to the Christmas markets. It was absolutely wonderful. If you ever get a chance, go. So much better than any UK Christmas market I've been to so far. But on the way back, it was a bit of a rough ride on the way back, and I was sat by myself in a row of 3 and I had a couple next to me. The girlfriend or wife was by the window. The guy was sat next to me. We hadn't really made eye contact, just sort of said hi as I sat down, and everything was fine. And as we was coming into land, there was like turbulence or something, but the overhead lockers were opening and the plane was shaking. And I hadn't realized, but when I opened my eyes and we had finally landed, I was holding onto the guy's hand as well, and his girlfriend was holding on the other side. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, mate. I'm really sorry. I didn't know what I was doing there. He was like, nah, that's fine. And we had a bit of a laugh about it. But my word, that was an experience. Anyway, now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. Always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.